All right, and we are live on the Dave Kauffman Free Thursday show. How's everybody doing? I can't wait to let you know who's on as a guest. You can see him here, but you probably don't know who he is unless you've been on my Facebook and you've seen pictures of this guy. But I want everybody to welcome my good friend, Brown Charite Sr., to the Dave Kauffman show. How you doing, brother?
Dave, man, I'm doing good. I'm doing good. I apologize. I was in your neck of the woods the other day, and I didn't even send you a message.
I know. I saw you were at one of my favorite restaurants, Michael's on East. I'm literally like 3 miles up the road from there. But that's a great restaurant. Did you get their steak?
No, we didn't do the steak. We were in the mood for salmon. They have a very, very awesome salmon.
Okay.
And it was delicious. We were literally sitting next to the pianist, Mr. Piano Man. So we got the opportunity to get some live music in, which is not common during these COVID days right now.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. All right, fantastic. Well, listen, we are live, and I'm looking at some of the comments. Priscilla, your wife, says the link is taking us to the back office. Check your Facebook. Go to my Facebook, Priscilla, and I think that you'll be able to see everything. We're broadcasting to my YouTube, to my Facebook page, and to my personal Facebook page, and that's where you'll be able to see me is on Facebook. So if you go to Facebook, that'll work. All right. Let me just check one thing. Let me just make sure it's streaming to Facebook. Yep, we're good. It's everything's right there. We got some people watching us, so we're ready to go.
All right. Awesome.
And I got to tell you, when I was on your show the first time, I told my wife afterwards, I said, you know, man, this guy Brown is one of the easiest guys to talk with. Like I felt so like good when I was speaking on your show because the question that you asked, it flowed really good. And I just want to tell you that it's an honor to have you on my show and to reciprocate that. I really appreciate you coming on here. And Priscilla says, now I can see it. We're good to go. So that's perfect. Technology is an amazing thing, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. And my wife is an amazing woman, isn't she?
Thank you, babe. Hey, I'm going to tell you, we both outpunted our coverage when we got married.
Right.
I don't think I've ever met your wife except through Facebook, but we'll have to get together next time you're in Florida. We're in Tampa. We'll definitely reach out to you and go out to eat. So there's a good restaurant we like in Tampa. I forget the name of it. Myron Golden took us there one time. It's real close to the International Mall.
Okay.
Ooh, it's so good, man. We got the absolute best Chilean sea bass I've ever had in my life. It was fantastic.
Okay.
So let me give you the people just a little bit of a background on who you are. So I met Brown at a conference. I think it was at De La Toro's FTX. We first met about a year ago, 2 years ago,
almost 2 years ago now. Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right. Now Priscilla is saying she can't hear me on Facebook. Let me see. Let me just check something out because you can hear me. Oh, it says good now. Okay. All right. Come on, Facebook. Pull through for us. Let's do this.
Right. Get it together, guys.
That's right. Yep. So you studied at the University of South Florida, St. Pete, and you're the CEO of Destiny and Light Incorporated. So tell us a little bit about Destiny and Light Incorporated. What is that?
All right. So Destiny and Light Incorporated is a company that my wife and I founded. We specialize in wedding and events. And we also have a salon and spa that we're getting ready to bring on board going into 2021. So anything dealing with hair and makeup services, that's what Destiny and Light Inc. basically encompasses.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Very good. And then and the Fig Tree Company. So I'm finding out more about you.
Yeah.
Fig Tree Company. That's an interesting name. Tell me about that.
All right, so the Fig Tree Company, it's something that I've been wanting to do for a while, and I think the law of the pipe actually kind of extends into this a little bit too. But the Fig Tree Company is a consulting company that I'm in a coaching company that I'm starting. I've been in entrepreneurship for 12 years. I went to school, studied entrepreneurship, and I've always found myself helping other entrepreneurs. As I've been in this industry, and so my wife was like, "Hey, no one's going to be taking your time away without you getting paid for it anymore." Because she was like, "That's some valuable stuff that you're giving. So
Yeah.
you need to start getting paid for your time." But the name Fig Tree, basically derived from. Do you remember in the Bible? There's a story about Jesus and his disciples. They're heading into this town, and then Jesus sees this fig tree, and he was hungry. The Bible says that he was hungry,
Yeah.
and he sees this fig tree, he goes to the fig tree and he doesn't find anything on the fig tree, and he basically curses the fig tree.
Yeah.
And the crazy part about that whole entire transaction with him and the tree was the disciples knew, and he knew that the tree was out of season, right? And so the disciples are like all left confused, and it really doesn't tell you why he cursed the tree. It's like one of those cliffhangers that you find in the Bible. And so the disciples like, bro, why'd you curse the tree? Because when they came back, the tree had already withered and it died. And they were like all perplexed, like, why did this guy just curse the tree? Like it wasn't in season. Like, like what was he expecting to find on a tree that wasn't producing fruit in its season? And in the revelation that God gave to me about that particular story was it wasn't the fact that it wasn't the fact that the tree was out of season. The issue was that the tree wasn't producing for the season to come. Right? So the thing about it is when you read the scripture, it says that the tree was in leaf. So basically, in leaf means the beginning of the season to come. However, there was nothing there. So if you think about a mango tree, right, before you get that beautiful red or orange or yellow mango, it pods into this green thing, right? And the interesting thing about Jesus is when we read the Bible, there was never a time when Jesus was ministering that he did nothing from nothing. Right? The only time nothing from nothing came about was when the Lord spoke the world into existence.
That's right.
And every time thereafter, when a miracle happened or whatever, anything was created, it came from something, right? So
that's right. Water to wine, bread, fishes, multiplied it. You're exactly right.
Absolutely. Lazarus was dead, so he had a body that he could resurrect. The blind man had eyes, he just couldn't see, and he healed him. The lame man had an arm, and he was able to stretch it out. So again, you see this pattern where it's something for something, right? If you have a little bit, I can churn it in and I can make it a lot. That's like Jesus's ministry in a nutshell, right?
That's what he does with us, with our lives. I mean, he takes something that's broken and makes it complete. He takes beauty to ashes, ashes to beauty.
That's the beauty, yeah.
He's a transformer. You have to have something to transform to be a transformer. So
absolutely
great insight.
And so that's how the name Fig Tree came about, because what I realized was because the tree, even though it was in leaf, it had no signs of producing fruit. So there was nothing tangible that Jesus can grab off of that tree and say, hey, tree that's fruit that's not ripe, be ripe. There was nothing like that. And so that's why the tree was cursed. Now, when you bring that back into life, and how does that really apply, Brown, to our business, to our personal lives and things like that? Well, David, when did you start planning? When did you start planning for your retirement?
Like long time ago.
A long time ago, right? Yeah. So you're not going to wait until you're like 65, eligible for retirement, to say, you know what? Hey, I'm 65. I'm going to start planning for retirement.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So at that point, when life doesn't work out for you, You know what I'm saying? Whose fault it is?
Big old me.
Exactly. And so that's the thing. So so basically, even though you might not necessarily be in the season, you have to be planning for the season. You have to be planning for the season to come.
Right.
And,
yeah.
so another example of that would be when Jesus was going into when he was sharing the story about the kingdom of heaven is like this. It's like a bridegroom getting ready to get married, and you have the people out there with the candles, and some had oil and some didn't, and then they had to leave. See, the ones that had to leave, they weren't planning for the season to come.
That's right.
And so what wound up happening is when the bridegroom show up, they weren't present. And so when the doors closed, they were shut out. And so that's really what the fig tree is about. It's about making sure that you're planning for the seasons to come. So you don't have to be in the season, but you got to plan for the season to come. So if you and your wife are saying, "Hey, this baby is on the way," when do you start getting the baby's room ready?
Long time ago. We're trying to adopt right now, and we've been in the process for about 2 years now.
Yeah.
That bedroom's painted. It's got all kinds of stuff in it. I mean, it's ready, but we don't even have a baby.
Yeah. See, you're planning for it. It's an expectation. Right. You see something that's not there yet because you know it will be. Right.
Yeah. Well, that's really good, because I've often wondered, why did Jesus curse that tree? And I never really just put any thought into it. It almost, if you don't understand that, if you don't understand what you just explained, it almost sounds like, or it seems like he was kind of perturbed that, hey, I'm hungry and tree's not even bearing, but then it does say that it's not even in season.
Yeah.
You're almost like, did Jesus have a little bit of a bad attitude there?
I said he was hangry. Jesus was hangry, so he cursed the tree.
And Les Brown, you gotta be hungry. And I'm gonna tell you, there's nothing worse than being hungry and going to a fig tree and there's no figs.
There's no figs.
Yeah. And then what's worse on top of that is when you see there's no buds, there is nothing even coming.
Nothing coming.
So that's a great, we could talk on that all day long right now.
Absolutely.
That's good stuff, man. That is good stuff. That's great insight. So fantastic. And so recently I was watching one of your shows and you were talking about the law of the pipe. And so I saw it on the ticker and I said, I got to listen to that because that's an interesting title.
Yeah.
And I don't know what he's talking about, but I tuned in. And then I reached out to you and said, that's really good stuff. And then we said, well, let's do it on my show and let my people hear that as well.
Yeah.
So, I teach a thing about the law of a water hose, and it's about the importance of systems.
Mm-hmm.
And I talk about that, but that's not really what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So you're here to talk about what you call, and you've developed this as a tool for entrepreneurs, and we call it the law of the pipe. And it's a tool that illustrates effective relationships in the workplace. So I'm going to just simply shut it unless I can say amen or something now and then. And I'm going to let you have it because, folks, you're here with one of the best in the world when it comes to entrepreneurship, kingdom entrepreneurship. This is a great man. But he's also a great man of God, and he loves Jesus. He loves the kingdom. He loves to help Christian business owners understand business principles through a godly mindset. And Brown, I can just tell you that it's a pleasure to call you my friend.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. And Dave, what I want to do is, in order for this to work the right way, man, we're just going to have to keep this. We're going to have to keep it as a conversation.
Okay.
That's going. The beautiful thing, and you probably can attest to this too, even in your business, the best ideas are God ideas, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's like, man, I got this great idea and it doesn't work out. But then when the Holy Spirit just reveals something to you, it's like, oh man, that thing just takes off like a rocket ship.
Yeah.
So the law of the pipe was kind of like one of those things where it really just fell into my lap, right? And it happened two ways. A couple of years back, through some unfortunate circumstances, we lost our dog, Nugget, and my wife was like, I got to get this guy out of this area, because I didn't realize how much losing a pet would actually affect me until it happened. And so I was like horribly distraught. I was just like bonkers. I was like, yeah, so stressed out, so just overwhelmed with a lot of different emotions. And I was not even functioning, and it was a dog, right? But Nugget was my dog, right? He chose me. Like,
Yeah.
I wanted to get rid of him, but he chose me. So everywhere I went, he went, right?
Yeah.
And so my wife recognized that I was in this state, and she was like, I can't let this guy stay here. And I love her because she protects me like this, right? She doesn't let anybody take advantage of me, and she sees me when I don't see myself, right? And so she was like, we're gonna go to Hawaii. I was like, what? We're going to go Hawaii. And she was like, yeah, we need to get away for a little bit.
Man, you really did outpunch your coverage.
Yeah, right. So she was like, all right, we need to go to Hawaii. But during this time, we were also going through a major renovation project on our property, because we were transforming one of our buildings into a new salon space. As before we left for the trip, I said I got to talk to the contractor, because I want to make sure that I'm very, very specific on what I want before I leave, because if I leave and he's doing all of this work and it's not done the way that I want it, then I'm going to be even more upset, right?
Right. Yeah.
And so I told him, I said, look, we're going to be splitting these two bathrooms. We're going to be teeing off over here. We're going to be putting we're going to have two bathrooms back to back, so we can have two bathrooms up front. And so I thought we were all on the same page with the idea. And as we headed to Hawaii, that was a thought that just kept on bothering me. Like, I just felt in my gut that this guy really didn't listen to me, because he was a professional and he knew what he wanted to do. But what he didn't know is that I've done a lot of renovations. I've done a lot of remodeling projects. So I wanted what I wanted, because I know what was needed to be done for the job to be done properly. And so as soon as we land back into Tampa, I tell my wife, I bet you $5 he didn't do it the way that I asked him to do it. So got in the car, drove back onto the property, and first thing that I do, get out, go check the job. Man, I'm like, man, this thing is beautiful. He did an amazing job. I'm like, awesome. And so I flushed the toilet, and it flushed. But then I was like, you know what? Let me grab some paper and put it in the toilet and see what happens. And so I flushed the toilet, and guess what didn't happen? The paper didn't flush.
It went round and round, but didn't go down.
Yeah, merry-go-round, right? Exactly. And so I was like, babe, he didn't do what he was supposed to do. So he tried to cut corners, right? And so basically, where he was installing the new bathroom or the new toilet, a shower used to be there, right? And so what he wound up doing was taking a 3-inch and reducing it into an inch and a half.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, but at that point, water can go down. But once you start putting solids, guess what it doesn't do?
Right.
It doesn't flush, right?
Yeah.
Because you got pressure building up on both sides. It's not going to accept. It's not going to accept it. However, right, if it was reversed, it would accept it. So if it was flipped to where you had an inch and a half going into a 3-inch, it would accept it, because the pressure wouldn't build up on the opposite side.
Yeah, right? I was basically creating a vacuum on the top side where it just wouldn't go down.
Absolutely. So that's where the law of the pipe really began to show to me. Right, I'm like, man, this is crazy. But I was, it was like the thorn on my side that buffets me. So it taught me a lesson. And so what was happening is, I was going through some things with one of my employees in the workplace, and I realized that, hold on for a second, I'm operating just like this pipe, right? Because here I am, a person that has big expectations, big vision, and I want to move at 1,000 miles an hour, but I didn't realize the person that I had next to me or the person that was connected me, they weren't on that same level, right? And so basically the law of the pipe states that the person that you're connected to, they have to be on your level or they have to be greater than you.
Wow.
Right. So so as a manager CEO, it's very unlikely that you would pair yourself with the janitor.
Right.
Right. And so you as a CEO, you pair yourself to another executive or you pair yourself with another manager, but you wouldn't necessarily prepare yourself to the frontline employee. And so when you look at the law of the pipe as a tool, it basically allows you to begin to identify who you're actually connected to. So it's not saying that you can't have people that are smaller than you inside your organization. They just can't be. They just can't be in these key point positions that you need, right? So because the thing is, it's about flow, right? And so here my employees getting frustrated and things like that. I'm like, man, why is this person getting frustrated? The thing about it is that they couldn't handle my weight.
Yeah.
Right. And so, so again, it's almost like, hey, here I am. I'm a CEO and I'm putting this person in a management position. But the thing is, that person wasn't really designed to be in a management position.
Right.
That person very well could be an admin, but not necessarily a manager. It's too much weight. Right. And so the thing about it is, when you're talking about that pressure that builds up on both sides.
That's true. Right? Yeah.
So just think about it from this standpoint. Have you ever been in a situation where you and again, this is for any of you guys who are watching right now, you guys can say, yes, that's me. Put a comment in. Have you ever been in a position where you've hired someone, you're like, bro, I hired someone, but why do I feel like I'm still working the same amount of hours? Why do I feel like I'm still doing the same amount of work, but I hired someone?
Yeah.
Right. Law of the pipe.
Right? That's very true.
And so when you're thinking about, hey, scaling your business, growing, and things like that, or what's really important for me as the CEO of my company, my job is not to do the day-to-day work. My job is actually to create and develop. Right. My job is to basically make the vision that I see in my mind come to full fruition. And a lot of times as entrepreneurs, we don't necessarily have that opportunity, right? We start off with great intentions, but we get stuck and we get stagnant because we lose focus because we're always in the minutia of the business versus working on the vision of the business.
That's true. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. You're working on your business or in your business instead of on it.
Exactly. And and some people might very well want to continue being in their business. And that's okay. But one of the things I tell people all the time is that, what is your business? Like I asked the question. So Dave, let me ask you that question. What is your business?
Empowering business owners so they can spend more time with their family and friends.
Okay. All right. So what I'm going to tell you is this: your business is a wealth vehicle.
Yeah.
So you need to treat it that way.
A wealth vehicle.
A wealth vehicle.
Okay. Yeah.
So you need to treat it that way.
That's right.
Think about it for a second. Why are you in business? Right. So you're in business doing empower business to give freedom to other people. How you do that? You help them to scale their businesses. You help them to make sure that they have organization and processes so they can actually enjoy the freedoms of being an entrepreneur.
That's true.
Right. And so and at that point, hopefully also it's, well, not hopefully, I know, because I know you, it's to make sure that they have a profit that's going to protect them down the line as well.
That's right.
So if you think about it, your business is an investment. You put time, you put money, and you want to make sure that you get a return on your time and money.
Yeah.
Right? It's one of the greatest investments we got. So before I put my money out in the Fortune 500 stock market, I have a business that's literally operating the same exact way.
Right. Yeah.
Okay? Yeah. And so the thing about it is, I'm not able to focus on that level if I'm always stressed out, or if I'm always bogged down. If I always feel like, man, I'm taking one step forward and two steps back. You can never start thinking about those things. right?
Yeah.
And,
So I have a question. And by the way, folks, those of you that are watching this, please share this because I'm going to tell you, this is good stuff. Simon Lee says, I like the wealth vehicle. He gives a thumbs up on that. But I have a question for you. Can people's pipe shrink?
yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So one of the things I tell people is stress is a killer.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It kills in so many ways. Right. So so during that period of time, like where my wife identified, it's like, bro, this is not a good place for Brown. Do you think that I was being productive?
Well, no.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Right. I was spinning my wheels and getting zero productivity.
Yeah.
So your pipe can definitely shrink.
Yeah, and we see the reason I ask that is because I see couples. I will, disc is kind of my thing, and I see couples that personality wise they're totally opposite, but they are the perfect fit. But you see, one pipe is bigger and the other is like small, and so I would never say that you should get a divorce if that's the case. I would say learn how to enlarge your pipe, or maybe even shrink your pipe down to, depending on who's who.
Mm-hmm.
How does a person change their pipe?
So let's do this, right? So I want you guys to imagine, right? So let me see what I can do here. I want to grab. All right, I'm gonna utilize this real quick. Here, got it. All right. So we're talking about the pipe.
And guys, please share this out. Go ahead and hit share. I appreciate the ones of you that did it. So yeah, perfect. I see that.
All right. So you got so the green one is the larger pipe, and the red one is the larger the smaller pipe, right? So because I want to address your question first, right? So how does it work? You don't have to change anything. You just have to remember to change the direction of the flow. Yeah. So the big pipe shouldn't be flowing into the little pipe. The little pipe should be flowing in to the big pipe. So basically, when we're talking about relationships and the law of the pipe, we have to work on our strengths, and we have to work on our strengths. So if my wife is stronger than me in finances, you think you think I'm going to be the one handling the finances? No, it don't work.
Yeah.
You can call me the head of the household all you want. You know what I mean? But if I don't know how to handle the purse well, I shouldn't be the one handling the purse.
Yeah. So it's you change the flow, you don't necessarily change the pipe. Because like my wife is the same way. She's much better with handling finances and counting the finances. I can make it and I can spend it, but she's the one that keeps it and makes sure it goes in the right places. And so I just said, honey, you're in charge of it.
Absolutely.
I'll always make sure it's there. But so I changed the flow of it. And so, that's a great example. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So like another example is, and I cook better than my wife because I like to cook. I love to cook. Like I really, really enjoy cooking. My wife can cook, but she don't enjoy cooking like I enjoy cooking. Like I will be in the kitchen for like 3 hours making a meal that we're going to take down in like 30 seconds. Right. That's because I like it. Yeah. So at that point, who should be cooking? Yeah. The person that actually enjoys it.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm okay with that. And so when you're thinking about those, when you're thinking about the pressure, there's no pressure because she's allowing me to operate in my strength. And I allow her to operate in her strength.
Yeah.
But when you bring that back into the workplace, what it does do is it helps you to identify, do I need to move a person a little bit further down the line and replace them with someone else, right? And a lot of this is what is your end goal, right? What is your vision for your company? Do I want to grow, or am I okay where I'm at? So if you're okay where you're at, then you want to make sure that you're connected to someone that's the same on the same size as you,
right?
Because you have to flow. There has to be a flow, right? But if you're like, man, I want to scale, I want to grow, and I want to take my business to another level, then you as the CEO and the entrepreneur, you're the one with the vision. So because you're the one with the vision, you're the ones who should be focused on that vision, right? I have this saying where I say the person that's closest to the vision is closest to the bag, right?
Yeah.
And so one thing when you think about someone that says, man, I'm gonna have to hire a pipe that's bigger than me, sometimes that can be very, very intimidating for a business owner. Just like, man, that person is smarter than me. That person is sharper than me. They're faster than me. That person can take over my business, But the thing is, that's the exact person that you want. The person that can run your business is the person that you want, because that's going to be the person that can actually replace you.
That's exactly. Yeah, exactly.
So you can go there.
Yeah, I'm really good friends with a guy that owns that he sold a business to his children. I mean, it's worth several $100 million. I mean, it's an amazing company. And he told me, he says, I'm not the sharpest cookie, but I had this vision. And one thing this is what his philosophy is. He always hires people that are smarter at doing the job that the business does than what he is. And so in that case, he's the small pipe, but he hired bigger pipes.
Yeah,
is that right?
That's 100% accurate, right? Yeah. So when if you can go down in history with that type of example, Henry Ford, right? Didn't graduate from high school. Guess what he did? He was wise enough, right? He was wise enough and humble enough to hire people that were smarter than him, that would take his vision to another level. Right? The thing about it was the business wasn't the thing for Henry Ford. The vision was important for Henry Ford. The vision for Henry Ford was, I want everyone in America to buy a Model T.
Right? A car in every garage was his vision.
Absolutely. So if he were to say, man, I'm just going to do this by myself because these people are going to take my business, blah blah blah, whatever. Guess what? His vision would have never came to fruition, because he wouldn't be able to execute on distribution. He didn't know how to make the deals. He didn't know how to do this. He didn't know how to do that. But the thing again, the person that is closer to the vision holds the bag. That's right. So just like your friend who has a multi-million dollar company, even though he wasn't the sharpest tool in the jar, because he was the owner of the vision, he held the bag.
That's exactly right. Yeah. I think George Bush Jr. Said the same thing, that the secret to success is surrounding yourself with people that are smarter than you.
Yeah.
And that's fine with me, because I was just having a conversation with one of my clients today. I said that I chose back when I was running the cleaning service, I chose to become intentionally lazy when it comes to doing what my business does. So I was not going to, as the owner and as the vision caster, I was not going to be the one that was going out and if a vacuum cleaner broke, to go replace that and go. I can pay somebody $15 an hour to do that stuff.
Absolutely.
But we have to make sure that we have that vision, and that vision has to be a big pipe.
Yeah. And the funny thing about a vision, I'm working on something. I'm not gonna put it out, but I'm working on something right now. And I know you for sure. You've seen this. You've seen a lot of businesses that are in business, but they have no vision.
Oh yeah.
Right. And one of the things that I've seen as I've been coaching people is I realize that a lot of people have mission statements, but they don't have vision statements.
Yeah. That's the bedrock of our coaching. We call it the MVP: mission, vision, and purpose.
Yeah.
And I spent an hour right before I come on the call with you with one of our clients. We're developing his vision statement. Here's what I say about a vision: that if your vision is reachable, it should be a goal.
Look at that.
Your vision should be 5 feet from crazy.
It has to be bigger than you. It has to be so much bigger than you, right?
Yeah.
So for me, what I call vision is the hedge of protection.
Ooh.
Right? Yeah. Vision is the head of protection, and everyone has to submit to it, right? So there's no one that's greater than the vision. The biggest, baddest person in the room is not you; it's the vision.
Yeah.
Right? Because because this is why you can have a situation where what was it? Steve Jobs. When Steve Jobs started Apple, no one liked him. They thought he was arrogant. They thought he was super crazy. And because of personal things, not because of what the business was doing, but really because of personal things and how he was trying to drive the company to do things. He got ousted from his own company.
Yeah.
And at this point, you see this visionary get ousted from his company, and then all of a sudden, the business goes this way, right? The visionary is so important, and so what happened was when they couldn't figure it out, they're like, man, what's happening? Why is Apple this way? Why is Apple that way? They brought Steve Jobs back, the visionary, the wild and crazy guy, the guy that says, you know what, I got a goal that's 5 feet from crazy. When they brought him back, guess what? Apple becomes the first $1 trillion company in the world.
Right. Yeah.
Apple out innovates and outpaces everyone. They come out with the iPod. They come out with the Apple phone. They come out with the iPad. They revolutionize everything. And I'm not sure if you realize now, like, you know, hey, thank you, Tim Cook. I really appreciate you. Look, come on.
EarPods.
And what is everybody doing? Everybody's copying that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So again, vision is that important. And so the question becomes, how much time do you get an opportunity to spend as a business owner? Not only just as a business owner, but as a married man, married wife, on the vision that you have for your business, as well as the vision that you have for your family. How much time?
Yeah, not near enough.
Not near enough. But that's the most important place that we need to be at, right? We're the people that are called to be the creators and the developers.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you this: when my company, I can take you back. You know, when a company is kind of just a company, then all of a sudden it pivots and starts going up. I can tell you exactly what made my cleaning company become one of the most well-known, and I became a leader in that industry.
Yeah.
It was when I asked my staff of 35 people, and this is the question that I came to them with. I said, if we could create the perfect maid service, how would it look?
Yeah.
And what that did, okay, so I already knew what I wanted. I knew how I wanted it to look, but I wanted them to buy into it. I wanted them to own it. And so I could have said, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to build a company up to a certain, size. We're going to have 13 cars out front every morning. But no, I let them build it and as I activated their vision, their vision ability. And I preached that from day one. If we could build the perfect maid service, or if we could build the perfect wedding business, or if we could build the perfect coaching company, whatever your business is, that's a great question to start activating the ability for them to actually help you create that vision.
Yeah, and you know what you did? You increased their pipe.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
you increase their pipe. So the first question that you asked me was, can a pipe be reduced? Right? Can it get smaller?
Right.
The next side to the coin is that a pipe can also expand. It can actually get better.
Yeah.
So how does that happen? Mentorship, coaching. Actually having a real development program.
Yeah.
So I remember when I had the employee in the front. What I started doing was I stopped looking at my employee as a problem, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna pour into this person.
Yeah.
Right. I'm going to coach this person. I'm going to pour into him. I'm not going to berate him. I'm not going to beat him down. I'm just going to pour into him and try to encourage him. Right. Yeah. And I'm going to teach them what I'm learning.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's how you begin to increase the size of the pipe. Right. Because you can move. You remember Iron Man, Tony Stark. Right.
Yeah.
So Pepper Potts was Tony's secretary, personal assistant. And then I think it was Iron Man 3, Iron Man 4, I don't remember, where she became the CEO of the company. Right? Because when you spend significant time around someone, you really get to know them.
That's
right?
True.
And beyond that, he also knew from everything that she was displaying to him that she really cared about the business.
Yeah.
Right? So the person that you connect to, they first have to be a believer.
That's true.
They have to believe in you, and they have to also believe in the company.
In the vision of the company that you set out. One of the things in the maid service, and I keep going there because that's where I get all of my experience of running a company, is in the maid service. And I Googled one time, what is the average turnover rate in the maid industry, and believe it or not, it's worse than the restaurant industry.
Wow.
It's 200% in 6 months' time.
Wow.
So in 6 months' time, the average maid service turns over a brand new set of employees twice.
Wow.
And so I said, man, I got to fix that, because I was pulling my hair out like 3 months after I started my company. It's like, why can't I keep people? And I get it. Nobody wants to be a cleaner for the rest of their life. I get it. But we can do better than 3 weeks, 3 months, something like that. And so what I started doing, I started pouring into people, into the staff. I started having a daily staff meeting where we never even talked about the technical part of the business. We talked about, what does it mean to be a person of integrity? I read them Zig Ziglar books. I read them all kinds. I mean, my library was their library, and we would just read a paragraph and talk about it. Imagine 35 mostly female people, employees, that, let's be honest, the world is a brutal world out there, and a lot of them came from broken homes and broken relationships, and their world was not their friend. Their home was not the safe place. And so we made our company that safe place. And we started pouring into, we started expanding their pipe so that it could flow.
Absolutely.
And here's the thing. So 200 in 6 months, 200% in 6 months, we got it down to 60% in 1 year.
Come on now.
Yes.
Come on. Hey, somebody better put a clap inside of the chat. I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch it. That was it, right?
Yeah.
Because that is your brand now, right? Empowering. So what you did was you recognized something, and you basically began to empower, your team, and that's exactly it. So if I take you, I like to say I preach business, right? I actually own the domain. I preach business.
Oh, I like that.
But if you were thinking about it, I apologize, but I got it. So if you think about it from this standpoint, when Jesus was hanging out with his disciples, you saw it happen a couple of times where he would get frustrated. It's like, man, how long do I have to be here? Right? You know what I'm saying? It's like, how long you guys got to get this stuff, because I gotta go. I can't be here forever. Like,
I have a 3-year business plan.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Jesus said he had a 3-year business plan. It's like, bro, y'all better get this, because I'm only here for a limited time only, right?
Yeah.
Especially while it lasts. But he challenged his guys to grow.
Yeah.
Right. And then the other thing that I love about him is that he gave them permission to not only grow, but to do better than he did.
Yeah, he said it. I forget how he said it, but I want you to do greater things than
I. Exactly. Greater things than that you will do.
Yeah.
So again, so Dave, if you want to go and speak on the world stage, then you have to empower someone to take your place. Yeah. And again, they're starting from a lower place than you are, but they need to be able to take it, and hopefully, when they steward it, they're running it better than you did.
That's right.
Right. Yeah. And so, speaking of stewardship, one of the things as we went through this whole law of the pipe thing, I was like, you know what? We're looking at it from a completely different, the wrong way, because the law of the pipe taught me something. The law of the pipe taught me that I was hiring wrong, right? Because I was hiring to fill a position. Hey, this seat is empty. The seat is empty. We need to fill it. And so what the law of the pipe taught me was positions don't need to be filled. They need to be stewarded. And when I started taking a look at hiring from the position of stewardship, it literally just changed. It just changed. There was 50 people inside of the Indeed, and that shrunk down to 5.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because some of them were not capable of stewarding. And so if my vision is I need someone to replace me, or I need someone to come alongside me to give me rest, right? So when you're connected when you're connected to a pipe that's on your level, a natural flow occurs, right? There's no backup. It flows. Things just work, right?
Yeah.
When you connect yourself to a pipe that's bigger than you, that flow, the capacity is increased.
It goes faster.
It goes faster.
Yeah.
And again, when you shrink the pipe on the other end, the pressure builds up, the water comes out, and it's almost like have you ever kinked the water hose?
Yeah.
Right. And so when you unkink the water hose, it's,
what I'm saying? Right. Yeah.
That's how it happens. That's how exactly. That's how your customer service feels. Right. That's how your production feels. That's how the relationship inside of the office space. It feels exactly the way that it looks.
Yeah. So I have a question.
Go for it.
Did you tip the plumber that messed up that pipe because it gave you a world? You should have paid that guy extra because man, he gave you a good analogy.
He definitely, and one of the things is I've been telling my wife what I've been learning over the last few years, probably over the last 3 or 4 years, is that I don't let certain things bother me like they used to, because I'm always learning from the problems that I go through.
Yeah.
I'm always learning from the problems that I go through.
Wow, that's fantastic. So, just a wild hair. I have no idea, but is there a book coming out about this?
I actually, when I went to where was it? Philadelphia a couple of weeks ago. I'm actually developing a training program. So I went to go visit our buddy Dave in Philly.
Okay.
And we're working on an online course. But there is a book that is coming that will have the law of the pipe in it. But it's a much bigger than the law of the pipe.
Wow. I want to be the first in the class.
I like that. Thank you.
Yeah. Because I mean, this is so good because I'm the relationship guy with DISC, whether it comes with business or marriage. I'm getting ready to go to North Carolina tomorrow morning and teaching an all-day relationship class for married couples from a church. And when I heard you talking about this, I was like, man, this is like, I see this all the time.
Mm-hmm.
That one pipe is bigger than the other, and it's causing a vacuum.
Yeah.
And vacuums suck. Okay. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of marriages. There's a lot of relationships that are sucking right now because we're not able to expand or, let me ask you this. Is there a time when you do need to shrink your pipe?
Absolutely. You know why? Because again, I'm going off of it from the standpoint of the gospel, especially with from the context that you're coming at right now. The word says that we have to submit to one another.
Yeah.
Right? And so when the question is asked, hey, when does the pipe shrink? It's in that point of we have to submit to one another, right? So again, allow people to work to their to their abilities, right? Let's not compare each other. Let's not compare each other to other people, right? Let's look at the great qualities in each other and praise those.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is, there's 3 people in a relationship, not 2. And I think a lot of times, especially for Christian couples, we forget that because we're okay with being in our emotions and we're okay with being right.
Right.
And so from here, I'm gonna leap and I'm gonna go back into business real quick. When you think about the vision of a company, the vision of the company, remember what I told you? I said the vision is the hedge of protection, right?
Right.
So it takes an act of Congress for the vision of a company to change.
Right.
Mission change all the time, right? So the mission flows into objectives, checkpoints, goals, things like that. That's the mission. Those things are forever changing, but they're always under submission of the vision, right? And again, the biggest, baddest person inside of the company is not the CEO.
Right.
It's the vision.
Yeah.
Because CEOs get changed. The vision of the company typically doesn't change.
Right.
So when we go back to Ford Motor Company, what are they still producing? Cars.
Ford. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The goal of the company is the same. Hey, we want to have more cars on the road than any other car company. It's the same. The vision hasn't changed. The mission has, right? And so when we bring that back, right? So because businesses do a great job at being able to identify and recognize that. But when we come back into our own space and our personal spaces, in terms of our family, in terms of our family structures and systems, we don't have that, right? And you can ask, hey, how many couples have you asked the question, hey, what's the vision for your household? Bam. Yeah. It's like, hold on for a second. We don't have one. We didn't think we needed one.
Yeah.
Well, one of the reasons why we are attacking each other the way that we're attacking each other is because the hedge of protection hasn't given us a standard to live by.
That's true. Yeah. 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 Zig used to say this. Zig Ziglar said, if couples would understand that they really are on the same team,
mm-hmm.
you know, and we get it. And I see it all the time, even in business, even in marriage, where because like my wife and I were totally different personalities. I'm a high DI. She's a high C.
I'm going to have to go through this training.
Yeah. It's fantastic. Your wife just posted a quote from you. It says, in marriage, we fight for righteousness, not to be right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's great. And so I see it all the time where we forget to what I call adapting and relating. Adapting says, Brown, you're not like me and I'm not like you. You're your own person. You're your own personality. You have your own vision. And so that happens up here. When I think of you, I think, and then it comes down to my heart and I say, because you're different than me, you know, the makeup, the desires, the vision, I have to relate to you to where you feel valued. And it's basically, it's changing the flow
mm-hmm.
of a relationship. And that in marriage, we get to the point to where we are not willing to change the flow for that other person, for the person that you committed your life to, even in relationships and business and partnerships.
Yeah.
We have to learn to change the flow when it's necessary, because that flow goes towards the vision.
Yeah, absolutely. So you said one thing that really just struck me. You said we're not willing to change. We're not really. So basically, this is the thing, and this is one of the most freeing verses in the Bible for me that makes me look at everything from a completely different perspective. Is it says first the natural, then the supernatural.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so when we look at our own natural lives, we grow from, you know, sperm and an egg, you know, to a zygote, to a fetus, to a baby, to an infant, you know, to adolescent, preteen, adult, you know what I'm saying, and so on and so on and so forth. That growth is a natural thing.
Yeah.
And in all of those stages of growth, in development, right? In all of the stages of growth and development, there's change happening.
Yeah.
So when we begin to bring this stuff back to relationships, it's like, oh, you met me like this. Well, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But we've been together for 10 years. So where's the growth?
Right. Yeah.
It should be a natural thing. But again, it's that development. So development in relationship is intentional.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think the Bible mandates that, you know, it says change from glory to glory. There's Absolutely. A progression.
Yes.
And develop, you know, you cannot stay where you are and be at a different place eventually.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's so elementary, but you know, in marriage, we tried that. We try that a lot of times. Well, you married me this way, or you knew me when you asked me to be your business partner.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but you know, hey, if you put a canoe in a creek, it's going to move. It's going to go places, and there has to be a flow. Yeah, that's great. There has to be a flow.
Absolutely.
Because the flow will take you to your vision. But if you if it's flowing the wrong way, if it's restricted by wrong relationships, not being in the right seat, right bus, whatever, you'll never reach your goal if you stay where you're at.
Absolutely. And going back to it, a lot of times it's not the fact that you're connected to the wrong person.
Yeah.
Right. Because I remember for a minute, I'm like, man, this person is really, really like not getting it. But then when I back it up a little bit, like, it's not that the person's not getting it. I just have the wrong processes and systems in place that are preventing the person to get it. Right. Because And you know who created the processes and systems, right?
Yep.
As an entrepreneur.
Yep. Yeah.
Right. And we want to blame ourselves last. We don't want to blame ourselves first. And so when you're talking about repairing and growing and causing a pipe to expand its capacity and increasing its ability to function, what you have to understand is that you have to look at yourself first. You have to look at the vision of your company. You have to look at the mission. You have to look at the management. You have to look at the processes. You have to look at the systems before you even decide to change the people.
Yeah.
All of those things have to be looked at before you even decide to change people. Because when you start doing that soul searching, you're like, hold on a second, it's actually not the person. So it's not my wife, and it's not my employee.
Yeah.
It's the process that I have in place, right? It's the old antiquated system that we've been using from 1992, and it's 2020, and we still want the same level of productivity, but all of our other competitors are using updated software.
Yeah. Some of us are living in a dialogue world, in a digital in a digital environment, or a flip phone in a Apple environment. I remember the day that I wanted to box my mentor, my coach, right in the nose. I wanted to hit him so hard. But he said what you just said, but he said it differently. And he looked at me one day and said, Dave, your business is perfectly designed for the results that you're achieving.
Bam.
I wanted to hit him so hard because I was like, oh, because at that moment I was dealing with an employee that I found out was stealing from me.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, right. And then he says, your business is perfectly designed for the results that you're achieving. And he said, do you know why she's stealing from you? And I said, because she's messed up. And she said, no, because your business allows it.
Yeah.
And then he said, until you, or as we as business owners and as leaders, as husbands, as wives, take on 100% responsibility for everything that happens within our marriage, our business, our church, whatever God puts over us as our assignment, until we become 100% responsible for everything that happens there, we are not empowered to change it.
Absolutely.
Because whenever I blame somebody else for their small pipe, you know who I'm giving the power to?
Mm-hmm.
Them.
Yeah.
But when I say, hey, you know what? It's my responsibility. I've empowered myself so that then I can work through them and be there for them and help them enlarge their pipe. One final thought from you, and then I wanted you to give some contact information, how people can get a hold of you.
All right, cool beans. So one of the things, David, man, first of all, thank you so much for allowing me to just come in and be a part of the community for today. I really, really appreciate that. Yeah, definitely. And going back to what your mentor said, it happens because it's designed that way. Everything is by design.
Yeah.
Everything is by design. So when we go back to our companies, when we go back to our families, and we're asking ourselves, why are we here? It's something that is already, it's something that's already there. Like, it's almost like it's a rhetorical question.
Yeah.
Right? Why am I here? Well, it's really a rhetorical question, because you know why, right? Yeah. Because everything is established by a system of patterns, right? And I think when it comes down to it, our goal as business owners, CEOs of our company, two things: manage the vision and manage the doors, right? So going back to what you just said, the ins and outs of the cash flow. Hey, I'm not good at math, but if you're the owner of the company, you better expand your pipe.
Right.
To learn you some math. I know that was bad English, but you need to learn you some math so that people don't take advantage of you, right?
Yeah.
People are going to be people.
Yeah.
They will take advantage of your weaknesses. But again, when we're talking about the law of the pipe, when you connect yourself to the person that allows you to flow, you're connected to the right person.
That's
when
right.
You're connected to the person that allows you to grow, you're connected to the right person. When you're connected to the person that doesn't allow you to function,
there you go. The flow stops.
The flow stops.
It goes round and round and not.
It goes round and round. And it affects every area of your organization. Beyond affecting every area of your organization, one of the things that I say to people all the time, personal problems create professional, affect professional performance, and vice versa. Professional performance create personal problems, right? So when things are not necessarily working out in your business the way that it should, now you're bringing that home as the owner, you know what I'm saying, onto the people that you probably created the business for.
That's true. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I see it all the time. I see that all the time. How can folks get a hold of you, and what's the best way for them to get a hold of you?
Best way to get hold of me is to give me a call, 813-842-7366, which is my cell phone number, or they can follow me on my 2 channels. I have a channel called Faith in Entrepreneurship that's going to be developing a lot more in 2021. And we also have WEPA, which is another platform that we're on, Wedding Event Professional Alliance. So they can connect with us on Facebook, or if you want to give me a call, definitely feel free to give me a call at 813-842-7366.
Okay. Sounds good, brother. I appreciate you coming on. I got another call that I have to get on pretty quick here. And man, I could have done this for another whole hour, and we'll do this again.
That's what it feels like every time we talk.
I know. We ate up an hour really quickly, man. I was just like, 10 minutes, no, a whole hour already. So we're good. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Folks, if you're watching this, go ahead, hit share somewhere on your phone or your laptop. There's a share button. I want this to be one of the most shared videos because everyone needs to hear the message about the law of the pipe and how to have the flow to your vision. I think that's really great. I can't wait till your training comes out. Like I said, I want to be the first person in that class.
Absolutely.
I think it would be really great to study this even a little bit more on what we're doing. So Dave Yoder says, thanks for sharing, guys. A lot of people made some comments. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. God bless you, my friend. Thank you.
God bless you too. Take care.
Sure. Bye.
Bye.